the clock on the wall has no connection to reality, so it is 5:06. And this is the May 6th, 2024 meeting of the Redevelopment Commission. Let's go ahead and begin with a roll call.
Randy Cassidy, present.
John West, present.
Sue Scambaluri here. We have obviously a smaller than usual group tonight. Commissioners Meyerson and Hutton cannot be with us this evening. So let's actually move forward then to the reading of the minutes. We have one set of minutes from April 22nd, 2024. Are there any corrections? And if not, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Those are approved. That takes us to claims registers. We have two sets to approve this evening, one for April 26th, 2024, the other for May 10th, 2024. Do we need to treat these separately, Larry, or can they be, can one motion cover both?
One motion can cover both claims registers if you'd like.
Okay, but certainly that's
Just
up to
make it
the,
clear what you're-
yeah, that's up to the preference of this group. Is there a motion or motions regarding the claims registers?
Yeah, we can take them both at the same time. We'll go ask
Okay.
questions.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
So moved.
What are you moving?
Read them both together.
That we approve both claims together.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Right, so that's your motion for approval. All right, so just to be clear, the motion is for the approval of claims registers for April 26th and May 10th, 2024. Okay, and then we have a second?
Second.
Great. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you, that passes. So that takes us to payroll registers for May 3rd, 2024. Are there any questions on this? And if not, is there a motion?
Move approval of payroll register for May 3rd.
Is there a second?
I'll second payroll registers. I would like to jump back. I thought we were just approving, just reading together. I did have one quick question on our claims.
Okay. Why don't we finish out
Yep,
payroll
finish
registers
payroll.
and then go back to
Yep.
claims? Did we have a second on
Second,
payroll
yes.
registers? All those in favor of their approval, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, that passes unanimously. You had a question on,
Yeah, one quick question in regards to the CBDG on Fund 250 in regards to New Hope Family Shelter. For the social service grant on salaries, is that a grant that we do typically on funding salaries, or is that just?
Social service, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's our social service agency.
Grant that provides to that. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
great. Thank you. Let's move into reports of officers and committees. Is there a director's report this evening?
No report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Anna, is there a legal report?
No report. I'm also happy to answer any questions.
And treasurer's report? I don't see Jessica.
She is not.
And she's not up there. Okay. And business development?
No report today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This will be a quick meeting. And do we have an update on Hopewell?
Deb?
Oh, she went.
I'll make my report
Oh,
short.
there she is.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. So I'll make mine short. What you see happening at the site right now is construction continues at Phase 1 East as expected. We are expecting that work to be complete later this year. You also may see the restabilization of the grass, sort of the grass growing project by IU Health as part of the closing agreement. So remember, I think we reported on that last time, but you do see some action out on that. We are working on the re-release of the public offering for blocks 8, 9, and 10. And then I would also say the other sort of big thing that's going on is working through the legal side of the property conveyance agreement and the final development deal for the core building. So we still plan to bring that back to the Redevelopment Commission in the next one of your next upcoming meetings, so that we have the opportunity to get scheduled for, they can do their tax credit work and then ultimately look at a closing probably in early July now. So it will come fast. So that is our report, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Deb?
Yeah, Deb, did I hear you just say you're putting the 8, 9, and 10 back out?
Yes.
Okay, so the considerations that we had from the previous respondents has gone away? And people will have to resubmit?
Yeah, maybe Larry may want to answer that specifically, but I think there are opportunities, additional opportunities we want to make sure are afforded to more people. So the opportunity to do that is to put that Republic offering back out. And so those teams do have an opportunity to submit, and they can submit the same or they can submit something different. But Larry, do you want to add anything to that?
No, that would be right. That'd be correct.
Okay, what kind of timeframes are we looking to get back out and responses?
Our goal is to get it out here in May.
Okay, and then what kind of timeframe do you project to have responses back by?
So I don't think I know the answer to that right off the top of my head. We haven't nailed that down yet.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking this question is we look forward to try to create this new community in our town. What we have to do to expedite that to actually get people living there. So with that, and then on Bryn Shore, it's platted, and you expect that we will be conveying property to them sometime in July? And if they give you any go ahead.
Yeah. So the secondary plating process is going on right now, and we expect the secondary, if everything goes as planned, the secondary plating process will be done in June, which will allow for that, then it will be platted at that point. And so the final closing then can happen the first part of July.
Okay, and then if they give you any indication after that, what time frame they will be looking at to try to get people in and done? Is this to be started this year, or will it be in another year?
Here. No, I think they anticipate starting in July. I just expect them to mobilize very quickly after that.
Okay, and they went through the planning process yet in Bloomington?
They have submitted their documentation. It is going through the planning process right now.
Okay, so it'll be coming up into the counselor through planning in the next month or so?
Yep, it'll go through the standard planning process, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, John? Okay, thank you so much, Deb. So, that takes us to new business. First item is discussion of Capital Improvement Board's request to the RDC regarding the new convention center project. Who will be speaking to this?
Do you want me to do an intro, Mark?
Yeah, sure, that'd be great.
Do that. So as you all know, we have restarted and with a new interlocal continued the development of a potentially new convention center. Surrounding the convention center, the Redevelopment Commission has historically owned several of the lots, so including some of the parking lot area that surrounds the convention center, and then the RDC also purchased what is colloquially called the Bunger and Robertson building because they were located there. It's where College Square is located, just north of the convention center on College. As part of the process, the county has created a Capital Improvement Board, which has submitted a request to both the county and to the RDC on April 15th of 2024, and requesting whether the RDC would be willing and the city would be willing to make certain properties available for use in developing a new convention center. And so we wanted to just have this discussion item. Of course, this part of the property had always been part of the convention center, certainly some of the lots, and then the northern lots had been off and on kind of part of the consideration for a new convention center. There was a public charrette that was done on design, which targeted those northern lots, but now that this process is formally going there, we are still early phases of the design, so we don't know where that will lead. The CIB did request that we respond by today to their request with something. The county, for instance, responded that they had intended to make their parcels available for the new convention center, and so I think we are going to respond in kind. Corporation Counsel Margie Rice is here. She has drafted a response to memorialize both what the administration's intent is, but also I think with the blessing of the Redevelopment Commission as well.
Yeah, and there's no, just so you know, there's no magic, deadline today at 4 o'clock. That was just, I think, the deadline the CIB came up with because they have a meeting this week, and I think they wanted to be able to have some kind of response in their packet. I did let Jim Whitlatch know, the attorney for the CIB, last week that we probably wouldn't meet this 4 o'clock deadline because this redevelopment commission wasn't meeting until after 4 o'clock, but that we weren't ignoring him and we'd get a response. So I can essentially tell you that the administration's response that we'd like to give to Jim Whitlatch and the CIB with your approval is that those northern lots and also the lots to the south and sort of southwest would be available for the convention center project, but it's the expectation that because the TIF funds were used to purchase the northern lots, that some kind of reimbursement would be expected for those, just the northern lots. The other parking lots to the sort of southwest have been, always used for convention center, and probably, should be treated differently than these northern lots that were just purchased. So essentially, I can tell you that what my message is, and I want to just sort of run the meat of the letter I'm drafting by you to see if it's consistent with what you guys think is okay. But it would say that the real property located to the north and owned by the RDC, and that I identified by parcel numbers, was purchased with tax increment funds and not food and beverage funds. Food and beverage funds have been identified as the sole funding source, identified to support the project. The project is earlier defined as the expanded convention center. As such, the CIB should expect that negotiations will be required for the purchase or acquisition of the RDC-owned parcels to the north if those parcels are determined to be integral to the project. And to be clear, that the city must follow any and all legal processes required in order to divest itself of real property, and will expect to be paid or reimbursed in some amount for the real property. The northern parcels will not be donated for the project. So one of their specific questions was, will this property be donated to us, or will there be some sort of cost? And I think it's fair, I believe clear as kind, and it's fair at this point to let them know that the land is available, but there will be a price tag associated with it. So I don't know if you guys have any comments.
Thank you. So, questions from the group?
Nope.
Seems
We're
very
fine.
straightforward.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Moving things forward as a community together.
Yeah, and of course, let them know that we're all looking forward to it. This project has been going on for a long time, and if we don't get it going, we stand to lose our food and beverage funding, and so we want to make sure we get this thing off the ground. And the expectation is, Larry and I have talked about, we've got to get a building corp created. We have engaged bond counsel, so we're moving forward in that regard. Nobody wants to slow this thing down.
Thank you.
And Mayor Thompson, do you have anything you want to add?
I don't.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any question? What do you need from this body?
Just to express any concerns. If you have any concerns or I don't need a formal vote, but if you have any concerns that I'm not headed the right direction, let me know.
And also understand, as Margie noted, anything will come back to you. So any agreement or any conveyance of land, whether it's to the building corp or to any other entity, would have to come back to this board. So this is not the last time that you'll see questions regarding this.
No, and
project or land.
Yeah, and the CIB, those meetings are public. They're going to meet this week, and I expect this week that they're going to have some design conversation with the parties involved. And they might be seeing like some options for design. That process is still ongoing. So feel free to weigh in if you watch the meeting, if you see what those designs look like, if you have thoughts, let us know.
How it impacts the property that we're looking at.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Margie.
Thank you.
But comments from the public? You're the public today, so.
Isabel P. Monson, President of the City Council. I hope the RDC members received the letter that was signed by 8 council members. We also feel strongly that only food and beverage tax funds should be used for the convention center expansion, and specifically that this lot, the Bunker and Robertson property, should not be simply donated, but the TIF should be reimbursed the amount that was used to pay for that property. Reimbursement from the food and beverage tax. So that's the gist of the letter. I assume you all got it. And just as another point of information, we are having a meeting on Thursday, a work session for the City Council on Thursday at noon to Yes, I think so. To talk about the kind of the essential aspects of the project that a consensus or a majority of council members would like to see, that will be communicated to the CIB, because we would be the ones that would have to approve the bonding. So there are certain things that I think the council can probably agree upon as to what they want to see included or excluded. So just to let you know, that's happening as far as council input as well.
Great. And where is that meeting?
It is here. Let me check. I'm sorry, I don't have the location. I believe it's here though.
It'll be on the scroll,
Yeah, it'll
it's
be
in City Hall, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be on the scrolling
Right.
thing in the lobby, so, thank you. Anything else, Councilmember Piedmont Smith, Council President Piedmont Smith?
Just to know, it is in the McCluskey room, so.
Thank you.
Council President
Okay.
Mossman's correct, at noon, it's gonna be in the McCluskey room.
Noon Thursday. Okay.
Or by Zoom, if you go onto the government calendars on the website, you can join by Zoom.
Great. Anything else from the redevelopment commissioners
No.
on this topic?
Good to go.
Okay, onward.
Letter will be sent out today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm planning on sending it out today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on, we'll take up Resolution 2438, approval of amendment of agreement for security patrols at Hopewell Properties. Who do we have speaking to this item?
I'm more than happy
Please,
to
Ann.
discuss. Do you want to take it? No.
Go for it.
Okay. So essentially, as of May 1st, our 24-hour security detail did expire. At this time, we are presenting with you to go back to the 12-hour rotation until August 1st. So we need to see what's going on. Most of those buildings are down at this point. We have boarded up the main level of the 714 South Rogers building. And the core will soon be transferred as well. So this is just an amendment to extend that security contract, but also amend it down to the 12 hours from the 24.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Randy, then John.
Go ahead, John, after you.
The 24 hours, what increments of time will that be? I'm more
But down
concerned
to the
about-
12 hours,
I'm more concerned about covering it at night than,
it's 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
all right.
Okay, Randy?
Okay, start with, are we disconnected from utility water on that building on 714? So we don't have any more potential issues in regards to that. That's gone. We're boarded up. So we shouldn't have any issues. The other properties are down. And as we take over and close on the hospital side, are we going to have enhanced security for the core building?
So one of the things we anticipate, just briefly, is that we're working toward closing on the core building. So this actual extension, first of all, this patrol covers that site as well so that they can see the core building. We anticipate being closed on the core building before June or July.
Okay.
And so through August 1st, this will take us through that time period where we will no longer own the core building. So someone else will have to take over security of that particular building.
Okay, so that'll fall under their construction security. So we no longer, now we always have to be concerned about public safety at all times,
Yes.
irregardless of who responsibility is, because, you know, our police take care of it when it becomes necessary. But I just want to make sure that we're not continuing having to add, again, enhanced security, because at this present moment, we're going to be, what, $269,000? It was $300,000 to tear the building down.
Yeah, one of the things I'd point out, so if you'll notice also on the project review form, we have two lines here, so one of them specifically with the Marshall contract and one was called his enhanced security. So this is coming out of that enhanced security as well. We probably will need some ongoing security, just a full disclosure. We have the west, it is covered by a fence, but we do have the parking garage there. We still do have 714. So some amount of patrolling, and that's one of the things that I know Anna has been monitoring very closely too, is how many calls we're getting and what types of calls, where the hot spots kind of are.
Right.
And then obviously with this, one of the concerns that we had in the winter months is because there's so much more darkness that was outside of that 12-hour window. Right now, as it stands, obviously, light is extended till later in the evening, which is helpful to the security team. But additionally, we also have construction crews there during the day that are able to see what's going on the entire site through First Street, but also on Hopewell East as well. So that has kind of helped us out in this intermediary time. I can't tell you that there's not going to be a need for enhanced security past that, but that's something we're continuing to look at and look at whatever improvements we can make to try to minimize these costs as much as
I'm
possible.
just looking at this time frame that we're continuing on as far as year after year and
Yeah.
trying to get it back in affordable housing for individuals in our community. So we have neighborhoods that are watching as opposed to us relying on security watching as we have these people that are uninvited into the properties, which in turn gives us a security risk. It also gives us, liabilities, and so.
I would say the significant chunk of our attractive nuisances are now demolished. So, and as we continue to see that move forward, that we won't have as attractive of a nuisance.
Yeah.
I will say also that I receive all of the security reports, and the vast majority of the reports that come in are through the evening hours. So, not to say that we haven't had things come up during the day, but very infrequently.
Okay.
John?
This is a educational question. How does this expense get paid out of the TIF by definition? I'm not sure why it's not like a 444 account charge.
Yeah, because this specifically is going for the preservation of an ongoing redevelopment site. Now, if this project were complete, you're correct. That would probably come out of the 444 account. But as this is an ongoing and active redevelopment site that the RDC is preserving, 714, for instance, for potential redevelopment, also the grounds from any kind of loss, that actually counts in Section 39 of the redevelopment statute as a acceptable TIF expense.
What about if utilities were on and we were actually using it? Would that be a TIF expense?
It
too?
could be, yes.
Okay. All right. I just couldn't remember. Thank you.
Additional questions? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment on Resolution 2438? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Want me to go or do you want to?
No, go ahead.
We have a finite number of options.
Yeah, fine, I don't.
I'll move approval of Resolution 24-38.
Thank you.
I will second that.
We have
The only comment, I have one last comment, and I really want to try to get away from security as soon as possible by getting people in the neighborhood. Sorry. So.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you.
If I could circle back on Hopewell, since we're there one last time, where are we at on the, where I can wait, either way, where are we on the parking garage?
It's a good question. So the last I knew, and maybe Deb, if Deb wants to chime in, she's still on the call, she can weigh in. So we had received a report about some of the maintenance that would need to be done. I think that's still in the process of being evaluated and analyzed about kind of where the critical items for the parking garage are, and in terms of just what's the timeline, the proper timeline to start instituting some of those critical things to maintain the proper parking garage. We're also looking at avenues of not just use, practical use, because obviously a lot of that's going to have to do with the infrastructure that we have. You all just saw recently with Hopewell West Plat that came through and developing that infrastructure, but also beautification for the neighborhoods and kind of integrating what we can do with that garage kind of creatively to make it a more attractive part of an ongoing neighborhood. So those are kind of the process of, we're just kind of looking at those things. That's the last update I knew. If anybody else, I don't know, Jane, if you have other updates that are more recent than that, or Deb does. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jane.
I don't know, very preliminary, but we're looking at kind of an integrated proposal for the Ready program that would support the use of the garage, which we think is a really important asset because it will be located along the not yet finalized, but east-west bus rapid transit line that has loading and unloading. So we just think like Hopewell Commons, garage, beautification art, and the proximity to trades really just will lift up this corridor and make it really attractive. So not finalized yet, but planning to submit that.
Okay, when you say ready, you're talking the ready grants?
The ready, yeah, the IEDC ready grants.
Okay.
Sorry, too many acronyms. I can never remember what ready actually stands for.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
That takes us to business and general discussion. Are there any items we need to spend some time on here?
I just got a general question or comment. Would you be sure to thank Jessica for cranking this out? And maybe next meeting, we can get a little bit of an accounting instruction on how the general ledger works, because I don't see how debits and credits work in your world, different than mine.
Yeah, I would echo that request, so if you could please check with Jessica and see if she's available at our next meeting, because this was just handed to us, so I haven't had a chance to look at it, so.
I'll just quickly note that the READY stands for Regional Economic Acceleration and Development Initiative, if anybody's.
Thanks, Larry.
Perfect.
Well done, Larry.
Go, Larry.
Good job. Good job.
You can just find anything.
This is like stump the attorney, you know? It's like, see if you can do that. Anything else for the good of the order?
Question.
Business or general discussion? Yes.
General discussion, of course. Real America, where are we at?
I don't know where that, do you know any updates on that? As far as I know, they're actively constructing, so Real America, just, sorry, for the general public's use, whenever we say Real America, what we're talking about is 1730 South Walnut Street, which was called,
The retreat at Switchyard.
thank you, the Retreat at Switchyard, which is, if people notice that entrance to Switchyard on the east side of Switchyard, it's an active construction site. They have filled out their steel and concrete structure. You'll see wooden support going up for the walls, and they've been wrapping that. I think that they're back on schedule, at least in finishing. I just don't know what the process is.
Could you check on that? The reason I'm asking, it's been like, what, 3 years now, right, Ed? And I'm just trying to identify what time frame we actually think we'll have people being able to occupy.
They've hit several snags through their construction process. So, you know, they're, as
happens.
somebody that's in the
Oh, I
business, you
understand. I'm
understand
just
that there are a lot of hoops that you have to jump through sometimes. And unfortunately, they've had to jump through several. So, but I do believe that they are on target for completion.
According to their website, they're planning a summer 2024 opening.
Okay. Okay. Do we anticipate if they'll be coming back for any additional funding, or?
They have asked, yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Any other items for discussion? Bless you. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.